Hello and happy Tuesday, which is of course my book reviews day, and today I would like to talk to you about Murder Road by Simone St James. Now this particular edition that I'm showcasing here is the Evernight exclusive edition from Illumicrate. I will give more details on this edition after we talk about the book itself. First of all, the book is about the worst honeymoon ever. So we have April and Eddie, two newlyweds who are on their way to a nice little honeymoon when they take the wrong turn and wind up on the titular murder road. And while driving down said murder road, they encounter a woman in distress, a woman who has been gravely injured. And, well, them doing their good Samaritan duties decide they are going to help this woman, who gives them an ominous, I'm sorry, he is coming, prior to dying. And, well, they try to get her help, and they take her to the local hospital out in Cold Lake Falls. But very quickly they become entangled in this murder mystery of, this strange woman they've picked up who was seemingly hitchhiking on this road prior to being killed under strange circumstances. And they soon become kind of entangled in the mystery of the murder road. There are, over the course of many years, over the course of decades, stories of a ghostly figure on the murder road, and if you see her, you will very soon die. You'll very soon be killed. And over the course of these decades, there have been hitchhikers that have all been dying at while going through this murder road. And, well, being Evernight, I was kind of expecting a little bit of horror, but I am sad to say that the horror kind of takes a back seat to like this murder mystery aspect. I'm fine with murder mysteries, but this one felt kind of sluggish, kind of sloppy. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I've never read anything by Simone St. James. I'm surprised that she has so many books under her belt, because it honestly felt like a first novel. The characters, both April and Eddie, have their mysterious backgrounds. This whole novel is told in first person from April's point of view, her kind of narrating it for you. And, she is aggravatingly vague about her past, until obviously her past gets revealed. There's a whole lot of, I'm a dangerous person kind of thing, or like, they don't know about my past. Like, I don't know, it didn't quite work for me. Yes, there is a ghost. There is a lost girl. That part is all right, I suppose. It would have been better if it was more front and center. Instead, it's more of a murder mystery with April and Eddie at the center of it. And yeah, they are going to figure out what happened in the past, and they're going to try to figure out the mystery of that lost girl. But it's just, I don't know. One thing to be said about the novel is it takes place in 1995, and it likes to remind you that it takes place in 1995 through very, very bad pop culture references. Very forced pop culture references. Shoehorning in, Kurt Cobain, shoehorning in Pearl Jam, talking about Alanis Morissette tapes, talking about how that OJ trial's going on right now, talking about how Tanya Harding's on the news, talking about Lorena Bobbitt. They literally say, oh yeah, since that case just happened where the woman cut off her husband's, just like, Jesus, it felt sloppy. It didn't need to be set in the 90s. I suppose it did in terms of technological advances that would have, made the entire narrative significantly easier if it was set in modern day. But it kind of forces itself into a corner with the 1995 narrative setting, and it just, I don't know. You could have just very easily set it in the 90s and not had to drill home at every opportunity with, hey, remember this? Hey, remember that? It's just, I don't know. And I will say that, Yeah, there are aspects that I did not foresee, a couple twists and turns that I did not expect. But the whole final act, it's just shameful. I mean, it's an all right final act. It's decent. But it literally kind of pulls a Sherlock Holmes style where, you get to the climax. You get to this climactic scene, and then it ends. That scene's over. Go to the next chapter. Next chapter takes place in the future, and it's them literally recapping what happened. Instead of showing you the climax, they tell you the climax. I hate that so much. And then it pulls a Sherlock Holmes style conclusion where you have a character kind of step in and explain all the missing pieces that you didn't have, which is very much a Sherlock Holmes aspect kind of to it, which is fine, I suppose. It works for Sherlock Holmes, but what doesn't work for this novel is the character who does the explaining was completely incompetent for the entirety of the novel. And it's right here in this final act, it's like, oh no, I wasn't incompetent. I knew what was going on the entire time. Let me lay it out for you. It's like, no, you're either just a poorly written character or just a completely different character that's charading with the same name. It pick a lane. Unfortunately, I think it was more of a poorly written character, which is just a shame. I kind of wanted to go in liking it. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's a quick read. That is one thing it has going for it. I mean, this is, 360 pages, but it's a decent text size, decent margins. So, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's, just under 400 pages. You could read it in a sitting or two, but you might potentially be frustrated with the characters within it, within April and Eddie. I mean, Eddie has been described multiple times without a personality. Now, he's not described as not having a personality. He's described as being from the Army. His past is in the Army. His discharge from the Army has a little bit of a gray area surrounding it and a little bit of mystery, which will be revealed within the text. But there are so many times in the novel where he's described as, he's not just strong, he's Army strong. Later in the novel, he's running, but with Army speed. Like, that is his entire character. I mean, obviously he's not the protagonist, and he's one of the protagonists. He's not the narrator. April's the narrator, but she is just as guilty as treating you, the reader, like an idiot because you don't know her secret past. Like, her character makes choices that don't make sense except to reveal the past. Like, it contradicts who she is as a character, only to basically, keep you, the reader, in the dark. And then when the past is revealed, it doesn't make sense. It's inconsistent with her character. It's just like, what the hell? So, yeah, I mean, Simone St James, I'm sure, maybe your other novels are better. Maybe they're all, superb. I know she's probably got a big fan base out there. Unfortunately, this being my introduction to Simone St James wasn't as impressive as an introduction. But anyways, this novel is not in this particular version, but this novel is available wherever books are sold. This particular edition is, as I said, the Evernight exclusive, which is the horror subscription box every quarter from Illumicrate. I mean, the packaging is all right. I mean, I don't mind the sort of comic book style artwork that Dan Fris provides here. I mean, it's definitely all right. The cover design, which shows a map of Cold Lake Falls. I mean, it didn't really add anything to the read itself. I mean, it didn't detract from it, but I mean, if you're going to put something fancier on the cover, I mean, go for it, I suppose. And then, of course, you have your Dan Fris Polaroids for the Endpapers, which does all right. I mean, it doesn't really, it doesn't add anything per se, but, it helps put names to faces with some characters as you have more revealed as the narrative goes along. And this, of course, is signed by Simone St James as well. This was released earlier this year, so it should be relatively easy to find. Like I said, not necessarily this edition, but the book in general, if you wanted to check it out for yourself. If you're going in expecting a horror novel, you're probably going to be disappointed. But if you go in kind of with open mind, thinking it's like a murder mystery, with tad little bit of horror and, the supernatural thrown in, then you might like it in the end. So anyways, thank you very much for watching. Please check out my channel where I do at least one book review a week, plus plenty of other unboxing videos in between here and there. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you around next time.